I think now that we have set-top boxes that are connected to the web, so there's now that up channel where people can do interactive applications with their television programming, and also that the broadcaster now doesn't just have to rely on the TV show by itself, but can send down additional information about the TV show or additional activities on the TV show. I think from the old-fashioned place where you used to grab your TV, which is from your living room, that's one impact, that now it's opened up a whole other avenue of all the DVD extras are available to you from your couch. And at the same time, it's impacting the television industry in terms of there's so many more places to put your product, and put your programming, handheld devices, of which telephones are just one type, set-top boxes, game consoles, and then of course the web via computers and stuff like that. I think the story is still king, content is still king, and I think that if somebody is going to give you 3 to 5 minutes on their telephone or their iPod Touch to tell them a story, that it really needs to grab them from the beginning and also needs to be really interesting to hold their attention. I think people might be a little bit more impatient these days in terms of having that hook right from the start in order to give you their time. Like, their time is more valuable because they have way more options than, when I was growing up, one of the first places I lived, there was only one TV network for the entire place. So that was it. If you didn't like what was on that television, then go read a book, or go listen to a radio program. And I think now, there's more pressure on us as content developers and program developers to recognize the fact that the audience really has just a plethora of choices, and to really respect that, the fact that they have so many options, and to really make sure that the programming is solid, whether it's a 3-minute webisode or a full, hour-long episode of Lost. I think seeing those traditional, especially above the line entertainment people start to get a better understanding of what all these new mediums can do, and then also that all of us working on the digital side of things, I've been a digital producer for 13 years, to see those people now take an interest in what we're doing and to really understand how it can give them options from a storytelling perspective and from a distribution perspective. I think that probably since the 96, 97 internet boom, everybody's been focused on it as a distribution tool. Oh, it's such a cheap, cost-effective, wide distribution tool, like global distribution at the click of a finger. And I think only now, a decade later, are people starting to say, wow, actually I want to take an interest in it from a storytelling perspective, and maybe I tell my story in a different way because I now have all these different ways that I can push my story out. So in terms of what's coming, I think like I said, having the two sides draw closer together and collaborate more often, and I think our lab is a great place to do that, because even though the walls are breaking down at big media companies, they're not broken down fully yet. And the second thing I see is new forms of storytelling, kind of like alternate reality games, for instance, or ARGs for short. Those are just starting to, bubble up to the surface, the type of things that like 42 Entertainment's doing, or Area Code, or people like that who, are coming up with ways to hey, if I'm going to tell a story, it's not just going to be on TV or just on film. I'm going to start 6 months before, the show even begins, and start to tell it using the web, or go offline completely and not digital and put up wheat pastings or billboards and start to get your interest there. So I think that's sort of what we're going to see a lot more of in the next 5 to 10 years.